أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. Dear brothers and sisters, Salaam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We like to first of all apologize. Sheikh Tahir will not be able to do the reminder today due to some commitments. So today, myself, I will be just going through some points and talking you through the opening procedures, inshallah. So alhamdulillah, thumma alhamdulillah, we have managed to open the mosque yesterday. Alhamdulillah, was the first day back since 3 months, nearly, since we announced the temporary suspension of all the congregation activities in March. Alhamdulillah, yesterday was the first day back to receive the congregation. As we previously announced that we planned a very phased and a gradual return. The mosque will be open once per day, which is the Asr time only, which is about 5:30. That's the Jama'ah time, but we're going to be opening about 45 minutes before the prayer time to receive the people, or about half an hour before. So that's phase one. That's phase one, which is just once a day. Also, will not be conducting Jum'ah prayers. So alhamdulillah, yesterday went well. It was the first day back. Alhamdulillah, it was very good to see everybody. Alhamdulillah, we've missed the congregation, as I'm sure that everybody has missed the mosque. So alhamdulillah, yesterday was the first step, the first stage back. So what's important here is that we don't want to go back. Going back means we don't want the mosque to close again. We want it to have a very reasonable, a very phased approach by opening the mosque again, not to rush things. We want it to take it step by step, which means that inshallah, every step that we take forward, we're not going back again. So that's why we started with just one prayer a day. This situation, as you all know, is new to everybody. Is new to all institutions, is new to the whole world, and it's all trial and error. I would like to take you back a little bit to just after Ramadan, when all the planning starts. So after Ramadan, we started all the planning for the reopening. We formed a team of people to start planning. What do we need to do? We had about 5 to 6 weeks to plan the return. So the work started straight after Ramadan. We've appointed a COVID safety officer to be responsible for the risk assessments and responsible for the opening process. We have formed several advisory boards. Advisory boards basically just give advice to the committee and what are the best way forward. We had a medical advisory board. We had doctors, obviously, to advise us, because this is a pandemic. This is a medical issue, so we needed doctors. So we had we've taken advice from doctors. We've also taken advice from our shuyukh. Alhamdulillah, we're blessed to have our scholar and our imam, Sheikh Dr. Abdullah al-Judea, who is the Shara'i consultant of the mosque, alhamdulillah. So he has been also with Sheikh Tahir to be the Shara'i consultants in this situation as well. So all these boards, alhamdulillah, all this big team, from the volunteers, from the staff, from the COVID officer, from the advisory boards, all this team have worked hard to actually plan the process of reopening. We also attended so many different webinars. Alhamdulillah, lots of guidelines have come out. The MCB, BIMA, all these institutions, they provided guidance. Also MINAB as well, they provided guidance lots of webinars have been attended in the last few weeks also to listen to the guidelines. What is it that we can do? What is that we can do? There are things, as you know, are all the mosques are doing the same in terms of wearing a mask, bring your prayer mats, put your shoes in a bag, one entry system, one exit system. So all these are basics. All these are the same for every mosque. In our mosque, we've decided to cover the whole main hall. It's only the main hall that's open, by the way. So for those who attended yesterday, you'll see only the main hall is open. All the other rooms, including upstairs, are not open yet. So all the main hall, everywhere that people are going to be walking on, all the path is covered with plastic to make it easy to clean. The guidelines we didn't have to cover with plastic, yeah, but the Hoover is not enough to clean. Even though you're going to bring your prayer mat, the Hoover is not enough. So the guidelines were, if you're going to not cover the carpet or remove it or whatever, then you had to steam the carpet every day after people leave. And that was almost impossible. That's very hard to achieve. We couldn't do that. It's a big hall, it's a big mosque. We don't have enough manpower and equipment to be able to steam the carpet every day once. So we thought, what's the best way to disinfect after the prayer? So we thought, if we cover the carpet with plastic, something that we can easily mop with the disinfectants. So all this is for actually achieving cleanliness. So that means when you come into the mosque, you know that the mosque is clean, alhamdulillah. And then when you leave, the cleaning process starts, and that's going to happen inshallah every day. So the cleaning and the mopping of the whole area where people have walked and also prayed is going to be mopped with disinfectant solutions every time, or once a day during this period, inshallah. This is why we've covered the whole area with plastic, so that we can easily mop it and clean it. Even though you're still bringing your own prayer mat, we still needed to do the cleaning as well. So this is something that we were very strict at, and we made sure that we could cover the mosque, alhamdulillah. It was something that was economic, easy to apply, and also easy to remove as well, and something that wouldn't damage the carpet at the same time. So hence why we decided to cover the mosque with the plastic. Also, one other thing that we've introduced was the registration system. The registration system is not a booking system, so you're not booking a slot to come into a certain prayer. You just register once, yeah. And this registration is essential. It's really important that you register before you come, because simply one of the procedures that we've been advised to do is the screening process. Screening means taking the temperature, but also most important is actually asking some questions about your health, about just risk factors that we need to ask about before you enter the mosque. So we thought, if we're gonna ask everybody coming in these questions on the door, it's gonna be very time consuming. So for those who've registered, we'll find on the form you will answer these questions already, so you know. So if you know that you're not a high risk person, you've not had any temperature, you've not had any cough, etc., then you are allowed to come to the mosque. So we wanted to move the screening process to become online, which is going to make the flow easy. So that means that you're going to not spend a lot of time by the door or by the gate until you enter the mosque. You register, you get a number, you just provide a number, and the member of staff will have the sheets, will have a computer to be able to make sure that you've registered and you have it. So you just provide the number, and then you just walk in, you just have your temperature measured, and they make sure that you have a mask, you have a prayer mat, and you'll be provided with a bag for the shoes, and then you enter. So this is why we've introduced the registration process, to reduce the screening time. Screening time, as I said, is just asking these questions. Asking these questions, we were told these are even more important than taking the temperature even. So the screening questions are a must. So that's why you answer these screening questions when you register online. Also, the second reason for the registration as well is that, God forbid, la samahullah, if anything happened and we knew that someone who came to the prayer had COVID, and we had to inform the people, because obviously this is an obligation. We have to inform people. If you've attended somewhere and you have mixed with someone who have COVID, then we have to inform you, we have to let you know. This is a requirement. So that when you register, we have your details. We can communicate with you and let you know that on that particular day, someone attended the mosque for a Jama'ah prayer, and he was tested afterwards, and then he had COVID. So you need to know that. So that's another reason. The third reason also, it's an obligation given by the government that we have to register. We have to take the details of people coming in. Again, in case we had, either the government or the mosque, we had to communicate with you to let you know, for the test and trace system, to let you know that, someone that you've come close to, or someone that you've been in contact with, or you've seen somewhere, and in this case in the mosque, has had a positive test for COVID. So this is why we were very keen on the registration process, and this is why it's very, very important to register. The registration is very easy. It doesn't take you 2 minutes to do. It's online. The link is available on the Facebook page of the mosque. If you look down on the post, you will find it. It was sent by email. So for those who are on the mailing list, please check your emails, and also check your junk email as well, in case it went there. And I'm sure it's also been put on the website as well. If it haven't, inshallah, we'll make sure that it is on the website as well. So the registration process is very easy. Just 2 minutes form, you just fill in, you get a number, and you just keep it with you. It's only once. You don't have to do it more than once, inshallah. We haven't planned any Jum'ah prayers yet. And also a lot of people are asking, why are we not conducting Jum'ah? And why is it a very, very phased return? Why only just one prayer a day? Obviously, the government has introduced the COVID alert level since the beginning of the pandemic. At the moment, the UK is at level 3. Level 3 obviously means that the epidemic is in general circulation, and gradual easing of restrictions can take place. So at the moment, the UK is in level 3 COVID alert level. So which means that the virus is still being transmitted within the population, is still there. Although we're hearing that the numbers are decreasing in some areas, but also we're hearing that the numbers are increasing in some other areas. Like even our neighbors in Bradford, Leicester had a lockdown. So yes, the numbers might be decreasing some places, but as I said, there's still people are getting infected from it. And we don't want the mosque to be a mean of transmission of the disease. So regardless of all these measures that we're taking, you still can have a transmission. You still can have a transmission through the mosque here. So we want to make sure that regardless of all these measures that we're taking, you don't catch any virus in the mosque. One of the main maqasid of Sharia is hifdh al-nafs, which is the preservation of the soul. This is like one of the highest aims of the Sharia, is to preserve the soul. So we don't want the mosque to be a mean or a tool or a reason for someone to lose his life, or you lose the life of a beloved person, because he can get infected, la samahullah, and then you'll be fine with it and you don't even feel it, but you can go and infect someone else close to you, and that someone could have serious complications and die or pass away. So we don't want the mosque to be a mean of transmission of the virus by any means. So the preservation of the soul is key, is one of the highest aims. So this is number one. Yeah. And also after taking the advice from our Sheikh Dr. Abdullah al-Judea, and also Sheikh Tahir, the reasons and the pandemic situation is still happening, is still present. So everything still applies. So it doesn't mean that the mosques are open. It doesn't mean that you are obliged to go and do Jum'ah prayer. That doesn't mean that you have to go and do the Jama'ah prayer in the mosque. You don't have to do the Jum'ah prayer in the mosque yet. You will not get sinned by not going to the mosque. Although some mosques are open for Jum'ah, but you're not obliged to go and pray Jum'ah in the mosques still. because the reasons are still there. And the main reason is the virus and the COVID-19 is still present. And then still people are still getting infected and still people are still dying. So the state of the pandemic is still there, and it's still global, and it's still happening. So you don't have to go and pray Jum'ah. Absolutely, praying at home in these times are even better, because you are protecting yourself, protecting your family, and protecting the community as well. So it's even better, and we are even encouraging people to pray at home. Still, why we've opened the mosque? Because obviously people are missing the mosque, and we would like to start planning the gradual opening. Inshallah, the mosque will continue, inshallah, to open as we go along. We don't know a time scale. Some people have asked us how long this is going to be. We don't know, because obviously we take the guidelines from the government, and it's all about what's happening. It's all about the rate of transmission of COVID-19 within the community, within Leeds, within Yorkshire, within the country. So all these are things that we take into consideration. So God forbid we had another outbreak, we might have to close again. We hope that doesn't happen, but we want it to be very, very cautious. We open the mosque on a very, very, very cautious levels. We wanted to make sure that we're not going to be a reason for someone to get any transmission or any infected by the disease. So that's why, hence why we haven't we're not going to be offering any Jum'ah prayer, because Jum'ah prayer is always busy. And I'll be honest with you, the capacity of the mosque now is not even 15% of the original capacity of the mosque. So before we could accommodate 1,500 to 1,600 people for Jum'ah prayer. At the moment, just over 100 people we can accommodate every time we open the mosque. So it's a very, very, very small percentage. So if we open for Jum'ah, people will feel that we are obliged to go and pray for Jum'ah, but you're actually not obliged. You don't have to go and pray Jum'ah. Praying at home in these times is much, much, much better to pray at home in these difficult times. It's still a difficult time. It's still, the virus and the COVID is still present in the community, and it's still in circulation in the country and also globally. We also wanted to test our procedures as well, because we've tried new procedures. We've not done that. It's the first time. It's the first time we've applied all these measures. So we wanted to test it. We wanted to make sure that we can actually apply these measures that we apply. We've been planning it for a few weeks now, but we haven't tried it in real life. We wanted to make sure that it works first. So hence why, again, the gradual return. Every time we open the mosque, we need a minimum of 10 people to be able to perform all the procedures from start to finish. Minimum 10 people every time have to be present to do all the procedures and the guidelines and the rules to make sure that you have a safe entry and exit to the mosque, which is a big number. Every time, and between each prayer, we have to clean the mosque completely. We have to wipe all the hard surfaces. We have to mop the floor. So it's a lot of work just to conduct just one prayer. So we need to make sure that we have enough manpower. We need to make sure that everything that we do, we can apply it. We can do it because we're still in that testing period. We're still in that piloting. We don't know how long that's going to be. It could be 2 weeks, it could be 3 weeks. We don't know. It all depends on how well we perform, depending on how well the congregation cooperate with us. Alhamdulillah, yesterday the cooperation was great. So all these are things that we're going to be taking into consideration to see the way forward. The most important thing is that once now we've taken a step forward to open the mosque, we want to keep moving forward. We don't want to go back again. That's the key thing in the whole plan, inshallah. As I said, I think these are the key things that I really wanted to talk about. A lot of paperwork have been done, risk assessments and plans and things. All the paperwork. It's been a lot of work by the team, alhamdulillah, to be able to open the mosque again. It's important that you still remember to donate to the mosque, inshallah. You can donate online. You can donate. There are cash points in Abu Bakr supermarkets, so there are ways you can still donate to the mosque. So please make sure that you continue to donate, because obviously the mosque is incurring a lot of costs to be able to perform all these procedures and making sure that everybody is safe in the mosque. Also, don't forget the Love in a Box. Also, the Love in a Box project is still happening. Alhamdulillah, the team is still working, and they're still providing food and supplies for the vulnerable people in the community, for the people who are still shielding, for the elderly, for the people who really can't go out and can't shop for themselves. The still Love in a Box is still carrying on. So please don't forget to make dua for the team, and also don't forget to donate, because obviously we do the shopping for the people, or the project itself is where we get the funds from. So we need your donations, inshallah, for this project to carry on. The last thing that also I want to finish off with is any advice is welcome, by the way. Any advice is welcome. We're taking advice from everybody. So if you have an advice, get in touch with us. Very easy to get in touch with us. We have an email, which you all know is contact@leadgramos.com. You can message us through Facebook, although the email is more monitored. But again, Facebook is another way, to the mosque Facebook page. You can contact us via the email mainly, I recommend. But let us know. Give us advice. We are open for feedback. If someone has got an expertise in a certain area he can help us with, more than welcome to come forward. We have taken advice from everybody, alhamdulillah. In the last few weeks, we've worked with so many people, alhamdulillah, so many specialities, to make sure that when we conduct the risk assessment, when we open the mosque, we are safe, and we are, alhamdulillah, following the rules and the guidelines. So please forgive us for any shortcoming. Pray for the mosque, pray for the team, inshallah, that they are all stay well and safe, and they be able to conduct the procedures, inshallah. So make dua for everybody, make dua for us, inshallah. So jazakumullah khairan, and inshallah I didn't take much of your time. Jazakumullah khair for listening to me. Wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.